It's the savvy side of 9 to 5. Listen.
Bueller.
Laugh. And learn.
Negotiation. This is what you do in business.
This is The Focus Group with Tim Bennett.
Staunch.
And John Nash.
Keep your clothes looking neat and clean.
We're all business. Except when we're not.
Woo. Hey, welcome to The Focus Group. Tim Bennett here, as always, with my good friend and co-host John T. Nash in his Anchorman outfit. All of a sudden, John's decided he's going to be wearing, I guess, what are you wearing? You're wearing these jackets.
I'm classing up the show.
You're classing up the show. I'm in my pride pink or my transgender
but even,
pink.
I look on the monitor, I'm like, this is a guy I'm going to take seriously because he's wearing a Uniqlo $49 jacket.
Should I get a cheap jacket, too?
Well, I didn't say it was
Class up
cheap.
the show. $49 is cheap. You probably throw it in the washer.
Well, you know, I was laughing with John in the booth about this. The cost of these clothes, you get something on it. John has this like slick little jacket on from Uniqlo, and we have John on video, and we have Garrett on audio. These guys are fantastic. Thank you for helping us get to our audience every week. So John has this little jacket on. He says, "Okay, a stain on it. You know, you ball it up, throw it away."
Listen, I told you guys before, go to Primark if you have one in your neighborhood. I got a whole bag of clothes for $26.
Yeah.
And I got T-shirts that are fantastic. I've been asked about them because nobody could believe I got them for $3. And they had winter things on sale. I got a sweater for $3.
Sweater for $3.
All cotton.
This is like,
yeah, no, it's thin, but it's still, rather than spending $50 or $60 at one of the other places like
this
a Banana
thing,
or a Crew.
This thing is it's called kendo. I don't know what the names mean, but it's like a technical, it's like a poly. It's super lightweight. I don't feel hot. Looks okay. I got one in beige, one in gray, and then they're gone now.
Gonna get a green one?
No, I wanted to get a navy blue, but they only had black, gray.
We'll go online.
I went online, and this isn't online.
What size is that? Did
It's
they go
a
extra large, or do you have to buy?
No, small, medium, large, XL.
That's it.
And it seems to fit and look okay. So
good for you. So if you're joining us live, thank you at Facebook at 1 p.m. East. We're here every Wednesday. Also on the YouTube stream by the same name, Focus Group Radio. And, of course, you can follow along and catch any of the shows at any time. The easiest thing to do is to go to focusgroupradio.com. You'll find everything there, all the places that you can find us, and it's all free. So,
we love free, don't we?
Love free. On the show today, we've got a friend of the Focus Group family who's going to be joining us later on, Erin McHugh, author Erin McHugh. She's written over 24 books. And she's going to spend some time with us. We love this time of year because June, we seem to be able to have, we have a lot of people that want to come on in June, and we want a lot of people on in June.
Because it's Happy Pride. We're officially in Pride Month.
Now, I did see something.
Merry Christmas.
It was on Queerty, and I wanted to post it to our Facebook page, but I had a little issue. I'm still going to do it. But it's the closest thing I've seen to what could be the Pride outfit. Now, it's not Leprechaun. But there's a guy that's done this video that's gone viral, and I thought of you immediately. I'm not so sure you would wear it as much. It's somewhat caftan-y, somewhat superhero-ish, lots of rainbow.
Caftan implies pup tent kind of
it's flowy
fabric. Then when you say superhero-y, I'm thinking
capey.
Superhero is either tight. Oh, no, cape.
It was capey.
That's different. That's
there was a combo.
That reminds The Incredibles 2 is coming out soon. One of my favorite Pixar movies, The Incredibles. And there's a scene in the movie where Edna Mode, the designer who designs no capes. There's a whole sick sequence where people with capes get killed because the cape gets caught and dragged into an engine.
Hey, did you see, I saw them in the business report this morning. Did you see that IHOP is changing its name?
I did.
IHOB. Did you boys see that too?
Yeah, it seems like a...
Is it a ruse?
Gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because they're flipping a pancake or something. So they're flipping the P to a B.
So I thought the B meant breakfast, but I thought, why narrow yourself so much? Because so many people will go to IHOP you'll go for lunch or you'll go for dinner, you go after the clubs or something. But I thought if the B meant breakfast, you're really narrow casting yourself.
They're doing it because it implies a flipped pancake?
I don't know.
They did some cryptic tweet about it, like we're flipping the P, like our pancakes, to a B or something.
The January 11th is when the actual...
yeah, they're like teasing an announcement.
Yeah. So I was curious about it because I didn't, but they did say when I read further into the article that in fast casual or in these sort of restaurants, Olive Garden, IHOP, Applebee's, that sort of thing, the only day part that's growing is breakfast.
In terms of dining
Yeah,
numbers.
so when
okay.
they see numbers growing as in breakfast. So maybe they are going to do. Someone thought it was for bacon. I thought that's stupid. The International House of Bacon.
The last time I was in an IHOP was right when we left our old platform before we began working here in the studio, and I had a late breakfast with my friend Mike Wilkie, and I believe it was an IHOP in the Bronx.
Yeah. I remember you saying that, and I laughed. And I joked with you because they have that little cart of syrups, the little little carry-all, strawberry, raspberry, blueberry, all the different syrups you could try. And as a kid, I used to like
I remember getting off the train. It was the number one, and I know it was in the Bronx. And I remember the IHOP was right there, and it was packed.
Yeah.
It was packed.
It's always packed.
And I had like some kind. Denny's does the Grand Slam, right? Yeah. But it was like two, frisbee size. Frisbee, I mean, the enormous pancakes, the links, it was more food than a human being really needs in one sitting. In fact, I'm sure it was my caloric intake for the entire day.
You're such an old lady. Meanwhile, 11 o'clock at night, you're scratching like a raccoon at the can for the brownies, the box of brownies.
Or ice cream.
Oh, it's ice cream now. I didn't know you were an ice cream fan.
Well, we moved uptown, and the grocery store near us has a full range of lactate ice cream because Bob can't have dairy or lactate, and so they have like cookies.
Is that any good?
Oh, it's fantastic. They have cookies and cream, caramel, vanilla caramel, salted, and they have mint chocolate chip. And so the other day, I think it was caramel something, and Bob comes around the corner at one point to the kitchen, and he's like, I was thinking of having ... And just as he said that, I have the carton, like the container, and then the last spoon's going into my mouth. I'm like, can't have ice cream now. Finders keepers, losers weepers.
It's like you bought me those lemon squares, and I brought them down to the beach.
Did you have any?
So I had one. I had two left. So I had one, and then I asked Richard if he wanted it. No, for 2 days. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to have that for breakfast in the morning with my coffee. Sure enough, I went down. It's gone. He's like, that lemon square is really good. I said, I asked you for 2 days if you wanted it. I saved it there for breakfast. Anyway, those things happen. Oh, anyway. So did your Pride kick off okay? Are you doing any Pride festivities this year?
Yeah. Okay, next week I'm going to an LGBTQ task force get-together at someone's apartment, an actor named Yuval David, and I swear to God we've had this guy on the show at one point. The name, something about it. But it's an update on what the task force is up to. The LGBTQ task force, by the way, is a very, very cool group. They take a lot of initiatives on the legislative side to make sure that we're all aware of what states are doing in terms of adoption rights or protections. And then I'm hoping, I put my name in for the Paul Hagen.
You did.
The Metro Source, top of the Freedom Tower, the art exhibit that he's going to have with the 100 finalists from that painting and art thing that they did with Metro Source. And I mentioned it to Bob. I want to go to the top of the world, too, so we'll see if that happens. And then Bob is actually marching with his company again in Pride. He goes, they haven't opened it up to guests yet. And I'm like, and hopefully they won't.
You'll be upstate.
I could be here, but I'd probably be upstate, then come back, that kind of thing.
And for those of you that are fans of Derek and Romaine, John and I will be guests of Derek and Romaine next Wednesday at 5 o'clock or 5:30. We're going to be on
5:50, yeah, something like that.
So be sure to, if you subscribe to DNR, that you catch us there. Typical DNR. I said to Katie, what are we going to talk about?
Whatever we want.
We'll see.
We'll see when we get there the day of. Yeah.
So we'll enjoy that next.
So do you have Pride plans?
No. Well, no.
I mean, you could really say that our whole month of programming has been a Pride gift, right? For everybody. We I mean, we have Erin
give
coming.
Freely. Well, we had Paul Hagen last week. We have Erin McHugh. We've got a new brand of vodka called Equality Vodka that's coming on. Pat Owens is coming on from
Visual AIDS.
A
cool charitable organization that helps promote artists who are HIV positive.
Who am I missing?
Kyle Young.
Kyle Young, that's right.
Talk about, the changing landscape of LGBT couples and financial planning and marriage and the whole bit.
How could I forget Kyle Young?
Kyle Young.
Such a crush on poor Kyle back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back in the old platform.
We'll see
now people will see what he looks like.
Now they'll get to see his physical, because before it was just the voice.
Just
right?
the voice.
So it's going to be a Walt.
Pride, John.
Happy Pride,
There you
bell
go.
to bell. It's a bell to bell month, and so that's our pride. That's our pride.
So what caught your eye this week?
What caught your eye? Here's what Tim and John found.
All right, so if you are a fan of the show, then you probably have been listening to Unbuttoned, and we hope you have been. Unbuttoned's a podcast that we do on Tuesdays. It's about 20 minutes long. This week was a little bit longer because after we did the podcast, the Supreme Court handed down the decision on the Masterpiece cake shop and the baker and his refusal to do the cake for the gay couple. And we discussed the decision, which has been discussed a great deal in the last 24 hours. It's a very narrow decision. In fact, it did not solve the crux of the problem, which was discrimination. It just, on a technicality, said the lower courts and the Colorado Commission that heard these complaints acted in a hostile fashion. They didn't take the cake baker's religious beliefs too seriously or seriously enough.
Can I sidebar 1 second there when you mentioned that? So John and I give our point of view on this. It's essentially, don't get excited. The Supreme Court punted. And I don't think there were any winners, although people want to sides. I was a little bit put off by the Human Rights Campaign. I don't know if you saw, they immediately came out with a campaign for solicitations. Emergency donations, our rights are under attack. And rather than having an honest discussion about what happened, I thought it was a bit, is it self-serving? I don't know what the right word is.
Well, I'll counterbalance that by when I used to have an ad agency and Tim worked at Subaru as director of marketing advertising, and he was our auto client, and I worked directly with him. One day we were down there and Tim said to me, you need to pay attention to what the other side is doing.
Right.
And so I actually subscribed to a bunch of right-wing, I don't want to call them right-wing, but one of them was they're the AFA, the American Family Association. So I signed up with an email account that I don't, like one of those junk mail account, meaning I get stuff sent there. So to counterbalance what you just said, the minute the HRC came out with a plea for money about our rights on attack, the AFA was right there. Seconds later, pops in. The Supreme Court did the right thing. They validated so those two extremes took
chambers.
Exactly, two echo chambers that took the ruling and did not really either pay attention to how narrow it was, because now the same thing can happen again. Someone could go to that bake shop and file a claim that they're being discriminated against, and this time the Colorado Commission might be more neutral, and it might not, So in the spirit of the cake and cake decorating, I decided to add a little levity to this conversation, and I found, do you ever check out BuzzFeed?
Yeah.
BuzzFeed now and then is just one of those fun little rabbit holes you fall down, and you don't want to get out because it's pictures, right? So I found this hilarious feed, and it's called Cake Decorators Who Are Honestly Just Over It. And it's pictures of cakes that have been requested for parties or whatever, and the stuff just didn't come out the way it's supposed to come out. So let's look at one of the first ones. So we're showing, if you're listening, it's a picture of a cake, and it says, "Keep up the hard wood." WOOD. And I think someone says here, the decorator who spaced on writing the word work.
Work.
So I don't know how that O and the D or R and K got transposed to keep up the hard wood.
Keep up the hard wood.
Well, you could bring that to a porn site.
Yeah.
To a porn studio. Great shoot today.
Shishi LaRue.
Great shoot today.
Yeah,
keep up the hard wood. All right, next one. This one is about here. Happy birthday, Jordan, and use a pretty font. So literally, they wrote down on the instruction sheet,
Jordan.
Happy birthday, Jordan, and use a pretty font. But happy birthday, Jordan, and use a pretty font. The roses look nice, though. It's a cool chocolate cake. All right, so what's our next one there, John? Yes. Best wishes, Suzanne. Underneath that, we will miss you. Another one who had instructions that
she wrote out the instructions.
Underneath that.
Underneath that.
Which even now, even if it's a flawed decoration, I would have expected that under and NEATH would have been one word, but underneath that, we will miss you.
See, if they went to Publix, they wouldn't have had any of it done because she wouldn't do summa cum laude, right?
Exactly, summa cum laude, exactly. All right, what's our next one here? So someone gave the instructions to the cake decorator to put something really inappropriate on the cake, and they literally squeezed out the frosting to spell something really inappropriate.
Which they spelt right, which I applaud them for. I always think these are funny because you're either just not thinking, right? I mean, obviously you're not thinking.
You have 10 sheet cakes in a row. Next cake.
You just look at it and you go.
All right, so what's our last one here? Oh, I love this one. Happy birthday, Mark, with the C. So again, the instruction was to say happy birthday, Mark, M-A-R-C, but happy birthday, Mark, with the C. And if you're listening to the audio broadcast or the podcast, I don't understand this, but there are two carrots up. Does that mean it's a carrot cake? Okay. I wondered about the two little carrots up in the corner. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I don't mean to downplay the decision this week, but, just to add a little levity that, it's a baked good. And at one point during this whole thing, Tim and I were on the phone after the Supreme Court ruling came out, and Tim, we did one of our cartoon voices from the back in the day, and Tim's like, if you can't get the guy to make a cake, go down the road to Costco and buy yourself a sheet cake. You save a lot of money, squeeze out what you want.
I don't want to go to a place. If the guy doesn't want to serve me, I don't care what I am, don't go.
Yeah.
We've all been to restaurants or stores where people don't want to serve you. I know the gay community gets all up in arms about this.
Rightfully so, but,
if you don't want your business, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's how business works sometimes. Anyway, I don't, and don't talk to me about all this nonsense. I don't want to hear it.
Anyway, I thought those little cakes, that's what caught my eye.
They update that a lot, by the way.
That one, the cake? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
Bob thinks you did this once before.
We did.
Was it a while ago?
A long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we did it. It might have been back on Sirius.
Really? Okay. Because he swore. He said.
No, but they update it. Yeah, they do update it. And those are new ones. I haven't seen those, but I love that stuff. That stuff's great.
Mark with the C.
With the C. Mine are two quick, simple ones. One of them we've already seen. The Miss America pageant has gotten rid of the swimsuit competition.
They really?
So no longer are we going to see the girls in the high heels and bikinis. Do you boys watch the Miss America pageant in the booth?
No, not for a long time.
No,
who
it's no
does
fun
watch
anymore.
it?
I used to love when the girls would tap dance and fall and answer the questions badly. But these, it's all about scholarship and talent now, John. So they're even getting rid of the word pageant. It's just going to be the Miss America contest, and it's for scholarship, and it's for talent, as they said, and they're also overhauling the evening gown portion where you can wear whatever it is you want. The changes go into effect September 9th. My friend Marianne, who you know, John, said her funniest thing about the Miss America pageant, she said, I don't care that they wear swimsuits. She goes, but have them walk out there in flip-flops with a cooler and a beach towel.
Like they're going to the beach.
Let me see how you walk then. Yeah. That's how you walk. Anyone could go out in heels. But see if you can carry the cooler and the towel and the flip-flops. That's how.
And they should have
on
sand.
stage. That's how you do it. So that's the Miss America pageant. Changes are coming. I used to watch it with buddies all the time, and we would laugh. But it's not funny anymore. It's too serious.
Sidebar, the last time I saw one of these pageants was when we used to rent a summer house in the Pines. And it was this gay cocktail night where you would all sit around and critique the hair.
Oh, the talent was horrible. Now they're all singing opera and they can play the piano beautifully. But back then they tapped.
Someone comes out on stage and splits an atom.
No, it's too smart now. No one wants to watch Smart. Middle America doesn't want to watch Smart.
Whenever I think of the Miss America, I think of the movie with Sandra Bullock and William Shatner, who was great as the MC of the thing, Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
And world peace. You know how they always have to finish with, and what would you like? And world peace.
Yeah. Then the other one is, John, I don't know if you have interest. This is up near you probably. Vermont's offering remote workers $10,000 to move to the state. So I have to read this. So if you're ready for maple syrup and mountains. On Wednesday, the Vermont Governor, Phil Scott, signed a bill that will pay eligible remote workers $10,000 to move to the state of Vermont in 2019. To be eligible, you need to become a full-time Vermont resident on or after July 1st, 2019. You need to prove you're a full-time remote worker from a company outside the state, and they'll pay your relocation expenses up to $5,000 a year for 2 years.
Okay.
In return, the state's hoping that you give a much-needed boost to its economy because the population is dwindling and it's aging. There's only about 625,000 residents in Vermont, and it's a shrinking tax base. So I said, Vermont's not the first place to do this. Also, some small towns in Michigan and Ohio are also offering financial incentives for people willing to make the move as well. If you're interested, you better act fast. The grant is distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. Only $125,000 will be available for the first year. So if you really love Vermont, New England.
When was the last time you were up there?
Last time I was there was a long time ago skiing.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I was going to say. We did a rental up at, I want to say it was like Mount Snow or something.
Yeah.
It was at the very southern, it was not one of the better resorts in my opinion because it was a little far south, but it was the closest in the sense that you had to go through all of Mass, then you got to Vermont, and then you were there.
It's the only New England state without an ocean. It's like the Republic of Vermont. They're a little communist enclave, Vermont. I mean, how else would you get Bernie Sanders?
I forgot.
No billboards allowed in Vermont either, by the way.
Well, that's right. That's
no
right.
billboards. Hey, we have a quick call before we get to one of our newest sponsors, Rob in Rehoboth Beach. Welcome to the focus group.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, guys. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine, Rob.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually about to drive through, what town is this? Ellendale right now. I'm heading back home. There are a couple of things I called you a few weeks ago, but you were busy online. Rehoboth, you know, we lost an icon of Rehoboth and Steve Elkins back in March. Steve, in many ways, and his husband, Murray Archibald, founded Camp Rehoboth in 1990 and are so responsible for creating the atmosphere there for the rest of us in terms of making Rehoboth a very LGBT-friendly town. And it was just really a tragic loss.
Hey, Rob, is Camp Rehoboth like a party, a special weekend or something?
No. Camp Rehoboth stands for creating a more positive Rehoboth. It took us a number of trips to learn that. In 1990, yeah, and they have a building there, and they're a public service organization for the LGBT community, but they were founded by Stephen Murray in 1990 after there were bumper stickers on cars saying, "Keep Rehoboth a family town," meaning keep the gays out.
Right.
And Stephen Murray formed the organization, and Steve was just a master at basically schmoozing with people and bringing them around over the years. And the kudos and the talks at his memorial back in March were just absolutely amazing and brought tears to the eyes of so many people. Just the number of people who turned out at this memorial. And Murray is the interim executive director right now, but it's not clear what's going to happen if they're going to bring on someone else to do this permanently. But Steve was just absolutely amazing, and they have a whole bunch of public service things that they do, including HIV testing, health and wellness programs. They do sponsor an annual block party in front of the building on Baltimore Avenue every year. Just a really great organization that has helped the community in Rehoboth.
Yeah, Rob, thanks for bringing that to our attention. We actually were contacted by some people in Rehoboth. John and I are investigating, or exploring, I guess is a better word, of doing a show from Rehoboth this summer, and honoring Steve was one of the things that they wanted to do as well. So thanks for bringing that to our.
And I just love the notion that his methodology for changing minds was engaging people,
right,
and just talking to someone, and that is a gift. So Rob, that's a great one. Thank you.
It looks like
all got dropped.
All got dropped.
Well,
But
thank you,
thanks
Rob.
for bringing that up, Rob. We appreciate it because it is something that actually someone talked to us about just a couple weeks ago. So hey, for those of you who are fans of the show, you know that we like to introduce you to new sponsors, and this is a sponsor coming back. In honor of Father's Day, but really it could be Mother's Day, it could be a recent graduate, it could be a newlywed. It's one of my favorite things. I've been using it for a year, and it's the Man Grate.
Man Grate.
So right now there's a special if you buy Man Grate at mangrate.com, which is mangrate.com. And if you use the code DAD18, you'll get 40% off of the...
This is the 8-inch grill, right?
Right. Oh, well, I don't know what the.
Yeah, this is a set of 2 plus the brush. We've had Man Grate on the show before. We love them. I almost think the name doesn't.
Spell it out?
Yeah, I almost think the name doesn't do justice to what it does, right?
Well, what I love about it, I know what you love about it, and what I love about it is there's no cold spots and it makes everything cook evenly. What you like about it is it probably makes little sear marks, which is what Kip and Mike in Idaho bought one of these, and they said the same thing. They love the sear marks on the meat.
Yeah, it's a very simple principle. This is a cast iron.
Yep.
And the idea is that on any grilling surface, this is going to distribute the heat evenly across the 2 cooking surfaces that are included in this kit. And it just cooks your meat better. And Tim, you always tell people to season this.
Yeah, you have to season it. I've been using it all year. I grill all year on it. I love it. And don't buy the fake. Don't buy the fake. There's a number of stores out there, and you can probably guess who they are, but they sell man-great-like things. And I always equate it to like LL Bean. If somebody wants a pair of LL Bean boots or shoes, you buy LL Bean. Don't go buy the knockoff because you're not going to be happy. So if you want to do this sort of cooking, the Man Great's the one thing to have. And it's 100% American-made, which means I guess it doesn't fall under the Trump steel tariff.
Yay. Yay. Yeah, I know. There's booby traps everywhere in buying stuff, right? So remember, it's 40% off, mangrate.com, mangrate.com. Father's Day is approaching. It's a great gift for a dad. Frankly, it's a great gift for the summer. I want to expand this and say this is a good summer gift, especially if you have a friend who grills. Tim loves his. And again, it's 40% off all grates and premium brushes at mangrate.com. And don't forget the code DAD18. DAD 18. DAD18. DAD18. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, we want to thank ManGreat for joining us again. Check out the site, mangrate.com. 40% off all grates and brushes. Code DAD18.
There you go.
Father's Day is approaching.
I'm gonna say, when I come to your house, I make salmon on it in the vegetables.
I'm going to say Father's Day, yeah, but it's Griller's Day.
Griller's Day.
That should be a new holiday, Griller's Day.
So you have a quick business birthday.
Everyone does celebrity birthday greetings, but the Focus Group is the only show in the universe that celebrates business birthdays.
Somebody drinking in the booth? Boys are laughing. Business birthday today. Eli Broad. I didn't know who he was.
Or she.
He's 85 today.
Broad. Sorry.
Born June 6th. Also, this was the day. Isn't this the day that Bobby Kennedy was killed, as well as
and D-Day? Yeah.
D-Day. And but it's also Eli Broad's birthday, and he was born June 6th. He's 85 years old. He's the founder. He's an American entrepreneur and philanthropist, and he's the only person to ever build 2 Fortune 500 companies in different industries. So he built KB Homes, which he did with a business partner starting in 1957. They used to build homes for people that were usually first-time owners. They started in the Midwest, and then they went national. And since 1957, they've built over 600,000 houses.
Wow.
You can imagine. And then he also bought a family-owned insurance company at the time called Sun Industries, and he made it into Sun America. And as a big insurance industry or insurance company that he ended up selling to AIG for $18 billion.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, the company was called Sun Life.
That's right, Sun Life.
He made it into Sun America. He built it into this huge conglomerate, sold it to AIG, which is the American International Group, for $18 billion in 1999. Guy finds money. He and his wife are huge supporters of the arts.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, so Tim has a picture of Eli Broad standing next to a silver bunny. Now, you know who the artist is, right?
No.
Oh, it's Jeff Koons. It's a famous piece. It looks like a blow-up bunny, but that's actually a sculpture, like it's cast metal, I think.
Well, it says the Broads have given roughly $1 billion to Los Angeles art institutions, and they now call Los Angeles a cultural capital of the world.
Which we may be exploring.
I said we'd be the judge of that.
And we will be if we go out for
We went to that Getty with all those fakes they didn't know they bought. That place is nothing but a waste of time, the Getty. You go there for a cocktail and overlook the city's about all it's good for.
And the Cactus Garden, yeah.
Anyway, and they're also part of the Giving Pledge, where they're going to give 75% of their wealth away, which is admirable. Happy birthday, Eli.
The Broads.
He was known, the other problem was with him, I shouldn't say problem, he was known for his unconventional ways of conducting business, and he credited his unreasonable ways for his phenomenal success. So it sounds like he was an SOB. Doesn't it?
Just assuming, right? Unconventional, right?
Hey, many of you know that another one of our friends here on the Focus Group is Deep Discount. If right now they have a summer-wide sale going on. If you go to focusgroupradio.com, click on the deep discount logo, and start shopping away. We'd like you to go through our site because then we get credit for it, and we appreciate it. And I did something quick this go around. John always is much more of a movie file than I am. I always try to go in with purpose. So a few years ago, I decided that I needed to.
Wait. I always go in with purpose. I'm a purposeful shopper.
I am.
I'm random.
Well, you see something and you grab.
Like a little cat.
But I have to have a reason because I get lost. So there were a few years ago I decided I probably should reread some of the classics from college or high school. Catcher in the Rye, The Great Gatsby.
Admirable. Yeah, I totally
Joyous Sex.
Reread The Great Gatsby will give you a definite.
I thought if you.
Yeah.
Catcher in the Rye, To Kill a Mockingbird, that sort of thing. So I bought the classics and I thought I should have them and they should be something that should be read again and have me give my point of view of them at my age versus what I was when I was younger. So I thought I'll do the same thing with movies. So since it's a site-wide sale, I typed in Google, what is the #1 movie of all time in the 20th century? And it gave me an answer. And then I said, what was the must-own movie, #1 must-own movie for anyone who's gay or LGBT? And it gave me a #1. So I picked those two this week, two very well-known movies, Citizen Kane, which I don't own.
Citizen Kane is
75th anniversary.
Fantastic. It must look great on Blu-ray. It must look fantastic.
On Blu-ray, it's $16 and change. It's probably the most studied movie, most studied film of all time. I don't need to go into it. If you don't know what Citizen Kane is,
thank you for
probably
this.
in the wrong place.
What a great idea. It's a fantastic movie.
Right.
Citizen Kane is Orson Welles. Come on, this is like director. Yeah.
And then I had a number of classes in high school and college where we studied Citizen Kane, not only from its story, but it's the way it was
great
produced
idea.
And directed.
Great idea.
Shadowing. The other one I've never seen. I don't know why. Anti-Mame was the #1 movie.
Rosalind Russell?
Yes, Rosalind Russell.
Oh, Tim, you're buying it?
Yeah, well, it says it's a progressive and independent woman, Rosalind Russell, of the 20s, is left to care for her nephew after his wealthy father dies. And so just some of the
ups and downs from Connecticut. The movie's brilliantly staged. It was based on a stage play, and she's the embodiment of great. So
each week I'm going to pick one of these top movies of the 20th century.
All right, so now I'm the Pole cousin coming into town with my little picks, my little basket of nothing compared to your brilliant Citizen Kane.
I have purpose.
You have purpose, and I'm apparently just
purpose-driven movie.
Clicks around like a cat following a shiny object. Well, a lot of people have been talking to me. I was not a Breaking Bad fan. I tried getting into the show when they tried to dissolve a body in a bathtub and then clean themselves off in a kiddie pool, and no one in the neighborhood. I jumped the shark real early for me, at least me personally, so I was not a Breaking. But friends of mine have told me that if I'm not a Breaking Bad fan, I should really get on the train for Better Call Saul, which is the prequel to it's
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's Bob Odenkirk plays, and he played this character, I think, in Breaking Bad, and so they've done this whole new series about pre-Breaking Bad, and it's actually about Better Call Saul. So I've heard from a number of folks, and I thought, I'm going to put this on the list. It's brand new to me. I'll give it a shot.
That's good.
Now, this next one is John going to, meaning me, not John in the booth, although John in the booth may know this movie. I know Garrett will probably know the movie, but not have seen it, perhaps. And it's a movie that I saw in college that I adored. And it's a kind of a schlocky, funny Star Wars meets Doc Savage, starring Peter Weller as a physicist, surgeon, rock and roll star, and his name in the movie is Buckaroo Banzai. In fact, that's the name of the movie, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. John Lithgow is a alien leader, mad scientist character. Ellen Barkin's in it. Jeff Goldblum. Christopher Lloyd plays a whack job. He usually played whack jobs in a lot of movies. I happened to go to the sci-fi section of Deep Discount, and I click on it, and boom, right there is this collector's edition Blu-ray, 2-disc, outtakes, the whole bit, and I immediately had this nostalgic wave come over me, and I clicked buy. So I'm just telling you what I did, because I haven't seen the movie in a long time, and I'm dying to see it on Blu-ray.
I'll be curious to see. Here, save that for when I visit.
Okay. Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
And then the new pick, or the new release this week, John and I laughed because with the lack of political, or with so much political correctness, the only people that can get away with anything right now are animated characters, or cartoon characters. There's none better than South Park. The complete 21st season is now available on Blu-ray, and you can get that on deep discount. It's 10 episodes on 2 discs. I love The Kids.
It's still one of my favorite shows.
It's topical,
TV.
it's relevant, but you could not do it with humans.
No, you can't. No, we've talked about this a million times. What they say and get away with on South Park. So, season 21, release of the week, available at deep discount. So we'll do a quick recap here. We had Tim pick the fantastic and American Film Institute Citizen Kane on Blu-ray, and you also picked Anti-Main with Rosalind Russell. Better Call Saul TV series. I'm going to check out season 1. Stars Bob Odenkirk. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, another pick of mine. It's a charming film if you're a sci-fi buff. You may know it already.
Maybe Deep Discount can open a gay movie theater. Doesn't this sound like this would be like a gay evening with these 4 films?
So focusgroupradio.com, click on the Deep Discount logo to start shopping. And Garrett?
Thanks, Deep Discount.
All right, we are going to take a very quick break. Thanks for hanging with us. And when we come back, Erin McHugh will be with us on set. So we'll be right back.
Brought to you by Volkswagen. Visit VW.com to learn more. Focus on the savvy side of 9 to 5 with the Focus Group.
Try, really try.
Listen, laugh, and learn with Tim and John.
I never try anything. I just do it.
Hey, welcome back to the Focus Group. Tim Bennett here with my good friend and co-host John Nash. Thanks to all of you that are tuning in not tuning in, that's a bad word we decided. Nobody tunes the radio anymore. So they're logging in. Are they clicking in, John, or logging in? What would it be?
I'm putting that to committee.
Thanks to all of you that found
committee.
TFG Unbuttoned on Tuesday mornings. We appreciate you guys in supporting that our latest podcast that we do each Tuesday. Without further ado, John and I mentioned we're having a great time here in June, and our Pride Month is packed full of great friends.
Happy Pride.
Friends of the Focus Group. And
I love Leprechaun.
we have no better friend to our show here than Erin McHugh, an award-winning author, written over 24 books or 24 books.
Just finished number 30.
You just finished number 30, so an actual working author, and just been a guest on our show for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we've been on 10 years.
In this studio, Erin was one of our first guests.
Right, one of our first guests. So thanks for joining us today.
Oh, please. It's my favorite thing to do.
It's your favorite thing. Now, you told us you're going to a wedding.
I am.
After this. Who has a wedding on a Wednesday? Or
I don't know, but Kate Clinton is marrying them. And
Kate Clinton is the
yeah,
comedian?
they're a friend of ours also. Wedding is this afternoon, then a little family dinner, and then gathering for a little cake and champagne, all the gang, a little dancing, I guess.
Does Kate Clinton still do the P-Town circuit?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I've not
around New York
I've not
and
seen
stuff.
her for years. Yeah. I would love to go see her again.
Yeah, she's funny. She's she's so smart. She's so political. She's on it.
Huh? Have you seen Kate?
I haven't seen Kate Clinton in a long time. Yeah. And that's when you praised the name. I thought another voice of ours that we need to be seeing more.
She's not lost her edge. She lives right up on West End Avenue.
Yep,
Give her a
that's
call.
right.
Will she come on here?
Yes, I think so.
I went to see her at the wedding in between cakes.
I gotta tell her.
We'd love to have her on.
She can't take my spot.
No.
Nobody
could take your spot. So what? there are a couple things. I don't want to. You'll see if you're watching along on our video feed that I posted some of the covers of Erin's books. And your latest book, was your latest Political Suicide?
Yeah, coming out in paperback in July next month.
Right. So that book's coming out in July. So from a business standpoint, when it comes out in hardcover. What does it take for a publisher to decide whether I'm going to put it in paperback, or is that something that you work together on? Or, yeah,
it's. I think this is actually, because so many of my books are little gift-sized books. It doesn't pay for them to go into paperback because the cover price is already $15, $16, something like this. Not so in Political Suicide. It was $27 or something like that. So then it pays for, to wait a while. We thought, well, why don't we wait till the 2018 elections, the midterms, having no idea when it was published, what it was going to be like then. We published it in spring of 2016, where...
Are you going to update?
We all thought with the update of the.
You could do a whole thing just on the new administration,
right? But you can't. Everybody says that because you got to have all this stuff in place. A year ahead, 9 months ahead, so that by the time it comes out, you got to print it, you got to, edit and everything else. So, in the current situation, or really any situation, things change, with every tweet. So it's not like you can.
But I have a copy of the book, and it's still hardcover or paperback. It's still relevant because it's all these.
Because everyone's dead.
And it's all these insane things that people did on the floor of the Senate or the House of Representatives, what they've got away with, what they didn't.
It's the same as it ever was. That's the point. Okay, worse.
Yeah, exactly. But that was the great thing about the book is there were people that went to jail and prison, came back and ran for office again and got elected. So it could be. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Next thing is going to be, pardoning yourself.
Now,
I've got plenty. I'd like to pardon myself. I've got plenty of stuff.
Did you see though? You guys may have seen it. I saw it right before we came in. Did you see what John McCain tweeted?
No.
It was hilarious. He said, "I like presidents who don't need to be pardoned."
Right. Exactly.
Because it was, I don't like he's a war hero. I like people who weren't captured. So McCain did his shot back, which I thought was quite funny today. But it's an odd time we're in. Are you the book coming up on Father's Day? We just did the Man Great.
I'd like one of those Man Greats.
Oh my God, it's fantastic.
You'd be good with that.
Great.
So can people still get all your other books are still available through wherever you find?
Just about anything, the mother's book and the father's book and the teacher's book and the One Good Deed book, they're all still available.
So like my father always said, if you want to give a book to your dad or a dad that's in your life, one way or another, it's a great book.
That's
it's
a nice
like my dad always says. Yeah, I was going through your books and I couldn't fit them all on there, obviously. But
I will say I have personal favorites out of Erin's collection.
I'd like to hear.
I have 3: One Good Deed, Second Chances, and Like My Teacher Always Said.
Really, you picked the teacher one?
I love the teacher one because I look back as it's a function of aging, I suppose. But when I look back, there were some key teachers, and here's you on our set. I don't know how long ago. It was the last year when you had second, and I was trying to find a picture from your very first visit to this new set, because I was also wearing a blazer. That's why.
You were?
That's why I was wearing a blazer today.
Do you always wear a blazer when I come?
No.
For you, yes, because you're a quality guest. I need to be a little more Tom Brokaw-ish, or name a Peter Jennings, for instance. But the teacher book always resonated with me because as I've gotten older, I've realized there are certain things and lessons I've learned, and either phrases I've used that have come from very specific teachers, third grade, fifth grade.
I also was careful to include coaches in there too, because so many coaches.
Yep.
I have 2 cousins who are football coaches, and I've seen what a difference they make in boys and girls' lives.
Right.
And when you see them with kids, even years later, they get the serious look on their face. Hello, coach. It's a real respect.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, I'm still learning this now. We have a neighbor upstate named Todd. Him and his wife live next door to us. Todd is the greatest guy, just retired. He'll keep an eye on the house when we're not there, and he always comes over. And he came over like 2 weekends ago to help me diagnose an electrical problem we were having with the dishwasher, the fuse box, whatever. And he's mucking around, and and he just acts like such a coach or a scoutmaster. In fact, I found out from a neighbor, and I brought it up. I said, "Oh, I love Todd. He always has the right words, whatever." And someone goes, "Oh, yeah, his nickname here in the county." And I said, "What?" He goes, "They call him the Todd Father."
Oh, that's so funny.
So I
love that.
And I watched him with younger kids. Like there was a family behind us that had their kids were kind of misbehaving one day, driving this car off the road and everything. And he goes up, and I'm getting ready to like scream and yell. And in the calmest voice, he says, "Now you know how to act like responsible adults. You've been taught the right way. What are you doing right? What are you doing?"
And you were going to say, "Get your bike off my lawn."
What the heck
exactly.
are you doing?
And his method was like the coach, the better method. So
You know, it's funny because that series of books, and we have them, of course.
Mother, Father, Teacher.
The Mother, Father, Teacher, like my father always said, my mother always said, teacher always said. The thing that I expected, okay, moms and dads are going to say the same thing.
No.
And that's exactly right. And teacher was different as well. And it was one was almost a worldview. The fathers were, I thought, kind of more practical, where the mothers were more.
Absolutely. I think one of the phrases I used on the covers for the dad was gruff advice. You know,
Gruff.
I was really loving, but actually like they're really
Buck
mean.
up. Right.
Yeah, right.
You know, suck it up and get moving.
Yeah.
Whereas the mother was like, sometimes these things happen. You know, it was.
Right, you got to go back to school. He'll call.
He'll call. Yeah. So I love that. And then, the other thing I want to say, you've done a remarkable job of keeping yourself healthy.
I lost a lot of weight in the last year.
So how'd you do it?
Weight Watchers.
Care to tell us? So you did all
I
weight.
did
You and
it,
Oprah.
Yeah. Me and Oprah. And Oprah's right. You can have. I'm having cake tonight. I was getting to a point and to an age where, I would run up or walk up the subway stairs, and I'd feel a little winded, or run across the street like that. And I thought, this is not going to get any better.
Right.
that's a good point.
And so I was also working on a book proposal, which is not sold so far, but I wanted to try to do new things. And it turned out I'd never been on a diet. So the second thing I wanted to do was learn how to surf. They'd have winter surfing lessons in Coney Island. And I thought, well, I'm never going to get up on the board.
You've never been on, wait a minute, you've never done a diet ever in your life?
No.
Good for you.
Well,
Yeah,
evidently not.
That's pretty amazing.
So I was, then I was just dedicated to it. I was my usual competitive self and competitive with myself. So I lost 30 pounds in 15 weeks.
Wow!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
No.
Do you miss
Why
anything?
cheat if you're gonna do it?
Do you miss anything?
No. You
it's
can
not
have
like
anything you want.
Did
And
you have
now,
a piece of
now
pizza?
it's been a year. Well, I've got to have a whole pizza tonight, maybe. Yeah.
You need a whole pizza.
Well, you should have a cheat day. You gotta have a cheat day.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you
just got to get on the Weight Watchers.
Well, then you're on. Oh, it's so great. It's so
point
great.
system.
And here's what I didn't think I'd like. I didn't think I'd like the sort of 12-step programish thing that I thought it was going to be. And
You have to go to the meetings or something?
you go to the meetings, and I thought it was going to be this grungy little,
Folding chairs.
room.
In
Yeah.
in a
And
room
everything's
of-
like really minty green, and everybody's nice, and they don't shame. There's no shaming anymore.
So what did you have this week? I had dust.
Right.
Dust.
Right. And what was unexpected to me was like, you can or not. They don't announce you in line anymore saying you lost, gained 2 pounds, you lost 2
Oh, the
2
weigh-in.
pounds or
Is there a
anything.
weigh-in or something, right?
Yeah, there's a little weigh-in, and they lean over and say, you lost weight, or you'll be fine next week, or whatever it is.
That's
and then when you
code
go
for
and sit
you
down
gained,
and you're
right?
going through the meeting, they say, would anybody like to talk about, something that happened to them this week, or why they didn't perform as well as they'd like this week, or if they've had a loss. And so people, I'll always raise my hand for a loss. And then everybody claps. I'm like, oh, I'm down with this. I found it very rewarding.
You drank the whole Kool-Aid?
Oh, my God, yes.
Is this G. Nidich set up all this, right?
Yeah, right.
When you are obese,
she was a guest.
you shop at other stores with obese women.
Probably the last show she was ever on.
Yeah, we interviewed Jean Knighted. She was 80.
Right before she died.
She was
a couple months before
literally
she died.
She's old, and she was alert the day we did it.
But not every day.
According to her manager.
Yeah, according to her manager. It was a great interview. It was fun, but she had a very specific telling of the tale, and we heard it, I think, about 2 times.
Pretty rote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rote is the word I would use.
Taking the bus to the Port Authority. And
Taking the bus to the train to the bus, and I asked the conductor, and I'm like, okay, that's a train, but anyway.
So did you do the surfing?
I haven't done the surfing yet.
But no, that was the diet was to lead up to the physicality
Right.
to do surfing.
I think next winter I'll do the surfing. I mean, I could learn in the summer, why not? But
so,
what's the fun?
Another project you had in mind was walking through all the neighborhoods of New York City.
That's right. That would be part of that same thing. So somebody please buy the book.
Oh, is that the book? Is that the new book?
Well, that is not the new book. The new book.
No, but I mean, was that one of the books?
That's one of the books. I have a book that's being shopped out.
Have you done the walk through all the different places?
No, I have not. I haven't done any of. I've done only a couple of things. And the weight loss thing was.
I think that New York walkthrough book is brilliant, and I would love to see that happen. So me and Bob moved uptown, and we're in Washington Heights now.
Oh, I didn't know.
And last night he got home and was still. You have to come by, and we were right next to Fort Tryon Park, which I had never been in.
So pretty.
Oh my gosh. There's the Heather Garden.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
Because John just was telling me about it at lunch today. How beautiful
is the Cloisters part of that?
Yes. Yeah.
I like taking the bus to the Cloisters because it takes you all through New York. To start over from York and 79th, where I am,
all the way up,
and it takes an hour and a half. But it's great. You see all the stuff you've never ever seen before.
It's a dense city. It's like there's a lot to do and see, and you just changing a neighborhood. I have a whole new perspective.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Fun.
And then the other thing you were going, as we're reminiscing or going back through this. So there was the walkthrough.
Yeah.
And then what was the? Oh, you joined Central Casting.
Casting, right?
Did you get to?
so far, I haven't been picked.
You haven't been picked yet.
So for anybody listening,
it's really pretty damn annoying. I have to tell you. So sometimes you sit there and you apply for like 40 jobs a day.
At Central Casting?
Yeah, you're like, yes, I can. Yes.
So for those listening, anybody can join Central Casting.
Right, and the place is actually called Central Casting.
And you send a headshot in, and you apply.
That's right.
To crowd roles and things like that.
Right, so you get sometimes 40 or 50 things a day.
Really?
Oh yeah, and it's great. But you have to look at them personally. Carefully. They're like, okay, 85-year-old Asian woman. Like, okay, I can't do that. but then they do. There's really weird stuff. You're like, oh, this sounds like me. And it says, bring your dog, and you have to have a 1986 maroon Bonneville. And it's like, okay, there's all kinds of crazy stuff. There's all kinds of crazy
maroon
stuff.
Bonneville.
So,
you know what?
So then it's like, not that one, not that one, not that one. So one day I apply to one. I think they cannot say no to this one. It says, must feel comfortable to spend the entire day in a hazmat suit. I'm like, what's to hate? You can't even see who I am.
Hazmat suit?
No, I did not even get called for the hazmat suit.
You're probably not the right size. Probably need somebody 30 pounds heavier.
Yeah, right. Right.
We should do Central Casting. Is it just in New York?
Yeah, but also...
It's, I think, down the block.
Yeah, it's very close.
Yeah.
Actually, when John Hannity was on, when he... I think he had left Miramax, and he was near his company was right near Central Casting, and he said this guy is a film producer, like he did the financing, and he said everybody should join Central Casting, and I think it's not just I think that they actually can cast in different parts of the country. Or are you just looking at the New York thing?
I'm looking in New York, but pretty much, if you change your locale and say, now I live in Philadelphia, you'll get stuff. They say almost anywhere that's fairly metro, they're gonna send you stuff. Not 15.
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, you should, because this is really fun, and it's fun to, as you say, it's fun to just go there because people are like, I was a little late. I was at an audition. Everything like they don't give a shit.
Oh no. Right?
And then they come with headshots, and they say, up against the wall. They want to see what your schlub is. So they click and
they don't
can
care.
I take another one? No, bye.
Polaroid.
They don't care a stitch about what you Photoshop. They want that.
The DMV.
Yeah, the DMV.
Right. It's just like the DMV. Very much like the DMV.
2 DMV experiences. Quick one. The first time I went down, the photo gets taken, and I had started cutting my hair with like crew cut length, and the woman swings the thing around, and in the picture's okay.
Oh, they let you do one more.
Yeah, well, I said, oh, it looks okay. And then this other woman, she goes, you look like when they took Darth Vader's helmet off. If you know Return of the Jedi, they take his helmet off, and it's he's balding guy with a big scar. Like, you look like Darth Vader when they took his helmet off. And the next one, I was up getting a new photo done, and I was sort of 3/4. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, I'm not supposed to be that way. She goes, oh, I think it looks fine.
Like a Central Casting.
Yeah, like a Central Casting. So I was allowed to keep that one.
It's my best side.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break here. Erin McHugh is our guest, author of many, many books, 24. 30, sorry, we hit 30. She's going to stay with us, and when we come back, we're going to discuss some new projects she has going. We've already been kind of dabbling in that area, but stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Brought to you by Volkswagen. Visit VW.com to learn more. Focus on the savvy side of 9 to 5 with the Focus Group.
And in business a week, I got more money than I know what to do with.
Listen, laugh, and learn with Tim and John.
Herrera Rocher. He is doing well.
I'd love to. I only made her hope once. I'd love to come.
Oh, hey, welcome back to the show.
The show within the show.
Dueling invitations.
We're our dueling invitations. We're continuing our conversation here with author Erin McHugh, along here with my good friend and co-host John Nash. And welcome to the Focus Group. Before we went to break, John mentioned some new projects, or a project that Erin was working on. And rather than me trying to clumsily explain it, do you want to tell us about what you're working on and who you're working on it with?
Yeah. For the first time, I have a writing partner. And her name is Emily Lucchetti. And a friend put us together to meet each other last summer because Emily is a very famous pastry chef. She won a couple of James Beard Awards. She's a big deal.
What do you mean put you together?
She wanted to talk about writing small books like I do and write some food writing books. So we started, working together and doing some writing, exercises and having fun, and we got along like a house of fire. And I don't know what happened, but suddenly we both started talking about aging. I was just turning 65, and she was just turning 60. And I did her a small favor. I looked up something for her, and she said, and then I was having this 65th birthday party for myself, and she said, I would like to bake you 6 cakes.
Wow.
6 cakes?
You can't do that. I was just going to go down to the Sunrise Bakery and get the sheet cake. She said, well, no judgment.
Or Costco.
But, yeah, right.
But if you can make 6, you can make 6.5 because I am 65.
Right. And she said, no, no judgment, but I'll do it. And I thought, I'm being like my mother would tell me, I'm going to wait for her to ask 3 times. And I'm on the computer. And so I thought, please ask one more time. She said, well, okay. I said, yes. So we started talking about aging. She just turning 60. When she turned 60, she, not to make a big deal of it, to somebody who doesn't evidently I don't know, because I have known her all her life, make a big deal of birthdays, she invited 60 women chefs to San Francisco, where she lives.
Oh, she lives in California.
Yep,
okay.
To have lunch.
60 women
Jonathan
chefs.
Waxman's
wow.
restaurant. He was the only boy.
That's hysterical.
From around the country, sort of?
Yeah, all the women she's known over the years.
Wow.
So we started talking about aging and what it was like to age and how older is so much younger every day now, it seems. It's not like your parents or grandparents. People our age, 50 and older. We travel more widely. We go on dating websites. We do more stuff. We had 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th careers. And working at Barnes & Noble as I do, I have people come in all the time to the information desk, and they're like, my friend Tim is turning 78 tomorrow, right. And he has everything, but I have to go to a dinner party. Where's the section? They always say, where's the section? With all the funny books about that. I'm like, there's no section. There's like 2 stupid books.
The funny section, like humor books about
aging, right. And there were about 2. And
that's not a section.
And they're offensive, and that's right. What Emily and I started to talk about.
It's about being decrepit.
That's what her name was. Emily Lucchetti is what her name is, and so we started. I looked at them. They're all about your body parts sagging, or that
you're decrepit, you're feeble,
you have to go to the doctor, and you have to.
You're shopping for Depends.
Yes, the whole 9, and that's all it is. And we found it offensive, and we thought we would like to. And then you look around, and there's just not that much in that space. So we decided we would like to explore that space. And the first thing to do, we thought, since we're not doctors and we're not health professionals, is do it's a sort of words of wisdom. It's a quote book. It's a quote book, a small quote book. At this point, we just handed it in last week. At this point, it's called So Who's Counting? The little book of wisdom about growing older and still kicking ass. So
where'd you get the quotes from? Are they famous or are they ordinary?
They're all famous people. Yep.
Okay.
Well, one of the cool things about this project is Erin.
Very upbeat.
Erin was kind enough to share with us the actual book proposal, the document that went to the publishing company, and I read it, and I was a couple things. I was fascinated by that. You've done this before. You're what Tim has always called an actual working author.
Right, I've done
who's actually
before too. Yeah, so
who's actually done proposals. They know what a publisher wants to see, and it was fascinating to read the intro. And you just did the intro basically. This is why this book needs to be here. We need this kind of thing. But then I began reading the quotes.
Right.
And I love some of the quotes. So.
Well, I mean, I agree too. I mean, I've written a lot of proposals. So has she. She's written a lot of cookbooks. So I think it was the best. It's certainly the best proposal that I've ever done because it was so meaningful to us. About what it's about. I really, it just pisses you off the way the stuff you see out there. It's not like we are.
Yeah. Well, the one thing there were a couple of points and John and I have discussed this a number of times. Madison Avenue is forgot about anyone over 50 still, I mean, other than some drug company things that they do. And John and I have always said, particularly in the auto category or luxury product category or travel or where you might need some more disposable income, they're ignoring this whole swath of people that do have some money to spend.
Crazy.
And they're not being marketed to. And it's always, I want to reach that young millennial or I want to reach the 35-year-old or the 21 to 35-year-old, which is all very well and good because you want to, I guess, project this young image. But there's such a group of people that are being ignored from Madison Avenue.
Right.
And obviously from publishing now as well.
It's turning around, but it's slow. But, you look around and everybody's a baby boomer. Everybody's, a lot of people are our age and they need to be marketed to and advertised to and just spoken to with some respect.
Right. You said this in the proposal, and thanks for sending it because it was fascinating to read.
I loved reading the proposal personally.
So you think this project, unlike some of your others, may have more legs in that you would go out and promote it a little more aggressively, as well as you mentioned something about workshops or seminars. What would a workshop look like?
Well,
like this?
We might do workshops and seminars down the road. What we thought we would do when the book is published, however, which should be next spring, is you would never I've gone around and toured a lot, as has Emily with her cookbooks, and but with a little quote book. That wouldn't be something you would do. But we started to think about the fact that we could have a conversation with each other. And it may look a little bit like it's ad-libbed, and it'll be partially, but it'll also be scripted. And talking to each other, but jumping off of different quotes in the books, and then involving the audience.
Very clever.
Right. So it'll be a different way to present a small book like that. And I think it'll be a lot of fun.
That's a very clever idea.
So if you were
it's not like doing a reading.
Normally an author
it's not
like doing a reading.
But instead it's a performance.
Right.
Which captures the energy the two of you have.
Right. And we have the very same, well, you'll see, maybe next year it'll be me and Emily sitting here with you. But we have the very same sensibility, but a very different delivery. She's very wry and grounded, where you know me, I'm so not.
So would it be the sort? Here's me being very clinical now, the ad guy. So is it the sort of thing where you would read a quote and then anecdotally you two would share something in your life that's fitting?
I think that's what we'll do. Or if it's talk about something anecdotally in our life, or just talk about the situation, or the way we're speaking now about the way that people are treated as they're older, or the way they're ignored. I mean, we used to say that there was no one more ignored than a lesbian.
Right.
Because you're gay and you're a girl, and but maybe an old lesbian.
Yeah, now it's like
right.
You have anyone special in your life right now?
Not at the moment. Shall I leave my number?
You're a hot number.
Thank you.
Thank
you. I'd like to think so, but
yeah. Well,
so I have a question.
You'll see today at the lesbian wedding.
You never know. I'm going with my ex, so I don't know how much of it.
Well, that's
sort of a false start.
Yeah, that tends to be a shower on a sunny day, right? Shower on a sunny day. The collaborative process, when it's two people who are not even on the geographic, not even the same part of the country, did you provide her with the structure for how this goes?
No,
did you both talk about it? Because it's a very co-writing. Tim and I try to co-write. It's hard.
Right, it's hard. But I mean, I'm assuming you guys are as gracious off stage as you are on. Because
no.
You're lifetime friends.
We're quite the opposite. We get on the phone with each other. We can't do this together because you do this well and you do that well, and should I write it and you edit it?
That's why I tried to step in.
There's no argument. It's like.
But what we decided was when we started to write the proposal that we gathered quotes, and then we would have a long conversation once a week, a couple hours, and we turned. I was nervous because, I haven't had a partner of any kind in a long time, a business partner, a
writing partner is that's a very different.
Yeah, and so it turns out we're both very gracious and we both have really good manners. So it's like, I don't know, we just we had another quote about retiring. Do you like the word retiring, Emily? She's like, not so much. I remember what John Nash said about retiring. I think I prefer. So, we're talking about 20 quotes and it takes 2.5 hours. But it's a ball.
But
then we have homework for the next.
All right, so that was my next thing. So who's cracking the whip? Because,
we're both cracking
because you got to move the ball down the court,
right.
to use a clumsy sports analogy, but stuff has to get done.
Right.
And
so we had an end day. We said, well, let's do this for 4 more weeks, and then let's go back and verify the quotes, and let's do something, and then let's talk about chapters, and if we'd like to change the names of some of the chapters. And then when we get together, let's write an introduction. So the book was due June 1st, so Emily has a house in my hometown in Massachusetts, and so she flew out, and we just sequestered ourselves for a couple of days. I think I
was
sent
wondering,
you some pictures. So that was pretty funny.
To get to that deadline.
And we still got along. I was a little nervous. We still got along.
Do you need permission to use famous quotes?
There's something called fair use. So
especially
not really,
dead, right?
but yeah, especially if the person's dead, but they could have an estate. You never know. So you have to be careful.
But that's the publisher does that, checks on all that.
Publisher does that, but we did it too. We just
yeah, but fair
checked
use
everything.
means like if you were saying the buck stops here.
Mm-hmm.
Any of us can say that. But
right.
putting it in print with his name after it
and
changes.
a copyright on your book. So
yeah, that changes the use. Somehow.
It does. So,
but it's still fair use for you guys.
It's still fair use. It could be obviously some schmo who calls up and said, "I never said that."
I'm sure it happens. I'm sure it happens.
It does happen now and again, but we were pretty careful.
Wow.
So who's counting?
Yep.
Is the new project. You're going to be joining us in early next year when
I hope
when
so, sure.
when this
Not before.
It's coming off and I can still smell the ink drying.
Right. I'll bring my friend.
We might take Erin down to Rehoboth and do a book thing down there in the
Love
summer.
it.
Well, Erin also invited us to do a road trip up to her,
B-Town.
and if we do that, we will have
a big summer. We better start planning.
You better start planning. We're making a date before we leave today. Because I'm a busy girl.
Because I've got a calendar that is filled up.
You can't believe.
All right, Time's a Thief, my dear. We want to thank you for coming in. Erin
Time's a Thief might
McHugh.
be in the book.
Really?
Who did say that?
Time's a Thief.
If you're watching on the video, John just put up a slide with a bunch of Erin's books. Check them out at Amazon. In fact, you have an author page there. It's Erin McHugh.
These are the two you need to get immediately.
Political Suicide coming out in paperback.
July.
Yep.
Like my father always said, for Father's Day.
Right,
Father's
exactly.
Day.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Perfect.
So thanks for joining us, Erin.
Thank you so much. Love to see you guys.
Hey, I want
all
to
the
say
time.
thank you to all our partners here on the Focus Group. Thank you, Mangrate. Remember, it's DAD18, 40% off all brushes and grills at the Mangrate site, mangrate.com. I don't really think that name does the product justice, but if you like barbecuing and grilling, get a Mangrate. Thank you, Deep Discount. It's the site-wide sale in June. We love this sale. Tim really showed me up this week. Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane,
But you haven't seen Auntie May?
No, I haven't.
And Auntie May.
I got to turn my card in.
Totally outdone. I chose like a TV show and Buckaroo Banzai.
Never heard of it.
I have to up my game. He surprises me all the time. So thank you, Deep Discount. Visit the Deep Discount site through our site, focusgroupradio.com. And thanks to Volkswagen Group of America. They've been with us over 8 years. Check out VW.com. Jetta's out now, the new Jetta, correct?
Get a Jetta.
Better get a Jetta.
Better get a Jetta.
They do have a cute CG spot where the car gets remixed on the turntable and stuff.
Yeah, that is cute.
All right, that's it, folks. Don't text and drive, arrive alive, and we will see you same time, same bat channel. Is that copyrighted too? Is that fair use, bat channel? I think that might be fair use.
Bat channel's probably trademarked.
Yeah, you're right. Probably trademarked.
It's the Focus Group with Tim Bennett and John Nash. Formerly on Sirius XM Satellite Radio and now accessible on all platforms. Subscribe, like, and rate us on your platform of choice. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com.
That was a stunning focus group.